So we were talking about the crash test rating in the U.S., and then there's other standards, European standards, I think, that are a little more strict.
That's
you guys
right.
test to those standards? Is that
Yeah, always, because we sell in those
everybody?
countries. It depends on where they're selling, right? So if there are products available in those European countries, they have what's called an ADAC or ADAC rating for all restraints in European countries, and it's very, very highly touted. It comes out of Germany, predominantly from a global perspective, is kind of the threshold you want to be scoring on, so to speak. And we get, in our world, we kind of shoot for that. That's the one we're after. We're not necessarily saying, oh, let's cross our fingers to see if we can get approved in the United States, because the thresholds is lower, as it relates to, and that's a fair, I think, fair comment to make. But we do know that over time, the lobbyists, the people who are involved in the baby industry, have pushed and pushed and pushed. It just takes so long to turn the ship as it relates to some of these and the bureaucracy involved. You wouldn't think, right, that something as important as child safety would take that long to get a new criteria, a new threshold, a new standard in place, but it just simply has. Yeah.
So if it takes that long for certain things and technologies to shift, I mean, that you're talking about testing and ratings and things like that, but even just on a manufacturing side, right? It takes a long time to kind of re-engineer something, get it through manufacturing and prototyping and testing before it gets into production and finally hits the shelves. I mean, that could be a year plus. Easy.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Especially on a car seat. Now, a stroller, some new design, you could probably develop that. That's probably a 2-year project, right?
Yeah.
Car seats could take a long time. There's a lot involved in that. For us, even for a bag, it's like a year before it's like idea to for sale is a year. And that's just a bag.
Yeah.
Anyways, my point being, what I'm kind of getting at here is, if that's the case and these things aren't changing quickly, as a manufacturer, and not necessarily trying to sell more of them, but what are the things that consumers and people should be thinking about hand-me-downs, right? Oh, my sister had a baby. They're not using the car seat anymore. They're going to give it to me. Is that a good idea? Is that a bad idea? And there's expiration dates. There's is there cause for concern for that? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the rule of thumb is, there's expirations on car seats. So it relates to a stroller versus a car seat. Totally different world when you're talking about car seats versus strollers. Mm-hmm. I would probably never recommend someone buying a car seat to use that they got at a garage sale,
right?
Unless they
just don't know the history
path,
of it.
Yeah, unless you knew the path. Now, what I will tell you though is the technology of today and the strength in the way that these products are built, most times if something has been compromised, it's quite visible that the product's been, but not always. There could be some stressing elements that has happened to the plastics that if it were involved in a collision, you just say, we'll just, replace or get another one. But as it relates to restraint of your child, right? At the end of the day, this is a life insurance policy you're buying on behalf of your baby. You only do this purchase once, ever in your life. You never, ever do this type of shopping or transaction on behalf of your child ever again. It's the life insurance policy while they're sitting in the vehicle of your car. So whenever I am training in any scenario, whether it's my staff, my people that are on the road on behalf of my brand, or if it's in a interfacing with a consumer, I want them to help. I kind of want to help them understand you got to put on a different face, if you will, as it relates to doing your research on a car seat versus a stroller, because the stakes are really high, right? Not to say that, well, whatever purchase you make, you're not still making a safe purchase, because as I said a while ago, as long as it's installed properly, you probably have a very safe seat. What I would say, though, is you got to think of it differently than just going out and buying an umbrella stroller, if you will, because of the fact that there's a lot that goes into it, making sure that it is properly installed, but how it interfaces with your vehicle.
Right.
So just because you like a certain brand, or just because you like this product, or my sister had that and that's the one we're getting, you gotta do your homework a little bit to make sure that there's a proper interface with what you're driving around every day and your lifestyle.
Sure. So hand me down on a stroller, not a big deal.
Nah.
If it's in good shape, it's clean,
Yeah, yeah.
you don't feel bad about it, and it works with the car seat you got.
Right. Folds properly, it's not been, it's not broken per se.
You didn't run over it in the garage or whatever.
The brakes work
Sure. Yeah.
properly. That would be the one thing I would test more over than anything.
But there's just a lot of that happening, right? A lot of hand-me-down kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So avoid it with a car seat if you can, unless you just are absolutely sure and certain of its history and can trust that. If a car seat's involved in any type of collision, you recommend probably have it replaced.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah, that's the rule of thumb. I would never. There's too many variables, right, that are involved. Where somebody was like, well, it was a fender bender. Yeah.
What about the base?
Yeah. Well, that's probably the component that took the most
impact.
Yeah. Because that's what they're designed to do. Well, a lot of people, even with our product, they'll lift it and they'll say, wow, this is really, really light. Does that mean that it's unsafe? No, you don't understand the safety component of the restraint. Safety is built into the base. That's what's designed to handle the physics of the energy push towards your baby, is that base and how it performs.
Because the base is heavy.
Yeah.
Your base is heavy.
Yeah. It is.
It's not light.
And they're designed to be.
Yeah.
So that they're
So that's interesting. I didn't realize
taking
that. I thought the introduction of a base, and maybe this has evolved, I thought the introduction of a base was just for convenience. Because remember back in the day, you didn't have bases.
Right.
You stuck the car seat in the seat and you strapped a seat belt over it and you pulled it tight and you called it good.
Yeah.
But the base is really a lot of the safety component now.
Absolutely. Yeah. It is designed to perform in a collision situation more so than and you say, well, if something actually, penetrates the door, yes, the shell is made and is designed with enough reinforcement around where your child is sitting so that it actually is not going to be compromised or break or anything like that. That's what goes into side crash testing. However, for the most part, the performance in most common collisions and how that what we call chest G's, that's a score, as well as HIC or head injury criteria. It's all pretty much built around the performance of that base and how it's actually taking in the energy.